How to Lose Friends and Alienate Voters, Labour's 6-month crash course. Right. Well, this is awkward. Remember when Labour won that massive 174-seat majority just 6 months ago? Yeah, about that. Turns out, governing is slightly harder than making campaign promises. And voters? They've absolutely noticed. Stick around, because we're about to dive into the most spectacular political nosedive since, well, the last spectacular political nosedive. Welcome back to UK Plug, where we make sense of the political chaos so you don't have to lose sleep over it. Today's episode, How to Lose Friends and Alienate Voters, a masterclass by Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves. So, just how bad is it for Labour right now? Imagine you're at a party. You're the life and soul for about 5 minutes. Then you accidentally insult everyone's mum. Spill wine on the carpet, and suddenly nobody wants to talk to you. That's essentially Labour's last 6 months in Westminster. Citium's exclusive polling with Freshwater Strategy has dropped some brutal numbers. Labour's vote share has plummeted by 6 percentage points. That's not a dip. That's a cliff dive with no parachute. Meanwhile, the Conservatives have clawed back 4 points, probably while cackling maniacally in their country states. Here's the kicker. If we had an election tomorrow, Labour would lose around 100 seats, leaving them with just 315, 11 seats short of majority. Starmer would have to go cap in hand to the Lib Dems, Greens, or SNP, essentially turning Downing Street into the world's most expensive flat-share negotiation. But wait, it gets juicier. When things get this messy in British politics, who do you call? Apparently, King Charles. Because nothing says constitutional crisis quite like the monarch having to dust off his political playbook. Reports suggest His Majesty has been consulting senior Conservative figures and, wait for it, Reform UK leaders about the country's future direction. Let that sink in. The King is essentially window shopping for a new government, like he's browsing the Waitrose cheese section. Shall we try the traditional Tory cheddar, or perhaps the spicy Reform camembert? Westminster insiders are whispering that this royal intervention could pave the way for an early general election. The vote of no confidence in Starmer's government has triggered what political nerds are calling unprecedented constitutional debate, which is basically fancy speak for, nobody knows what the hell happens next. Guess who's positioning himself as the biggest winner? Nigel Farage. The man who's made a career out of being professionally angry is now looking like the savvy political operator. It's like watching your least favorite colleague get promoted while you're stuck in the office photocopying incident reports. Speaking of economic incident reports, you know what they say, it's the economy, stupid. And right now, the economy is making Labour look, well, pretty stupid. Their October budget has aged about as well as milk left in a hot car. Those tax increases that were supposed to fund their grand vision? Turns out voters aren't massive fans of paying more money to watch the government fumble around like a drunk person trying to unlock their phone at 2 a.m. The centerpiece of Labour's agenda was economic growth. Instead, we got economic stagnation, persistent as that one friend who never gets a hint to leave the party. Economists have downgraded the UK's GDP growth forecast faster than you can say Rachel Reeves' spreadsheet. But here's where it really gets spicy. Reports of a £70 billion annual spending increase combined with potential US tariffs under Trump have economists reaching for their inflation incoming warning bells. It's like Labour decided to play economic Jenga while blindfolded during an earthquake. Polling shows that reducing inflation and tackling the cost of living crisis remain voters' top concerns. Around 70% of the electorate think the UK is heading in the wrong direction. That's not just a red flag. That's a red flag factory explosion. Surely Starmer's personal ratings must be holding up, right? About those approval ratings, Starmer's net approval currently sits at -33. In a stunning display of political spin, this is actually described as an improvement because he was doing even worse earlier in the year. It's like celebrating that your house is only half on fire instead of completely engulfed. For perspective, both Kemi Badenoch and Nigel Farage are at -10. That means Farage, yes, that Farage, is more popular than the sitting Prime Minister. Even more hilariously, Starmer had been trailing behind Elon Musk and Donald Trump in approval ratings earlier this year, although Musk's rating has since dropped 16 points. Apparently, British voters have finally realized that tweeting memes doesn't qualify you to run a country. Who knew? If you thought those numbers were bad, last night's YouGov poll just dropped the political equivalent of a nuclear bomb. For the first time ever, Reform UK has overtaken Labour in national polling. Let me repeat that. Reform UK is ahead of Labour. Farage's party sits at 25%, Labour has slipped to 24%, and the Conservative trail at 21%. The Lib Dems are steady at 14%, probably just happy to be included in the conversation, while the Greens hold 9%. This isn't just a political earthquake. This is a San Andreas fault deciding to redecorate the entire landscape. Reform UK, the party that was considered a protest vote just months ago, is now positioning itself as a legitimate alternative government. King Charles stepping into the fray suggests we might be heading for constitutional territory that hasn't been explored in modern British history. Here's what makes this fascinating. This isn't just about Labour failing. This is about the entire British political landscape reshuffling itself in real time. Reform UK going from outsiders to potential kingmakers, the Conservatives clawing back relevance, and Labour discovering that governing is considerably harder than campaigning. The next few months could literally reshape British politics for a generation. We might be witnessing the emergence of a new political order, or the spectacular implosion of everything we thought we knew about UK electoral dynamics. What do you think? Is this just Labour's temporary stumble, or the beginning of their permanent decline? Is Reform UK's surge sustainable, or will they crash back to earth once the novelty wears off? And seriously, what happens when the king starts shopping for new governments? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below. Smash that like button and subscribe to UK Plug for more political chaos analysis. Ring the notification bell, because at this rate, we'll probably have 3 more constitutional crises before next Tuesday. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next in this absolutely bonkers timeline we're all living through. Until next time, this has been UK Plug, keeping you sane in an insane political world. Cheers!